The courtroom was tense as King Harris's girlfriend took the stand, her hands trembling and eyes red from crying. She looked directly at the jury and began recounting events that had left the entire music industry in shock. "King Harris forced me into situations I never agreed to," she said, her voice breaking with emotion. The weight of her confession seemed to hang in the room, pressing down on every person present. King Harris sat silently, his face a mask of controlled fury, while T.I. watched from the sidelines, visibly disturbed by the revelations that implicated not just King Harris, but also his own reputation. King Harris's girlfriend described in painstaking detail the pressure and threats she endured, explaining that she felt trapped in a world where saying no was not an option. "It wasn't just influence or persuasion," she said, looking directly at King Harris. "It was coercion. I had no choice but to follow his orders." The jury listened intently, the silence punctuated only by her stifled sobs. Every word she spoke painted a portrait of manipulation that left even seasoned legal professionals in the courtroom visibly unsettled. T.I.'s name came up repeatedly as the girlfriend disclosed instances where she claimed T.I.'s actions indirectly facilitated King Harris's control. While she insisted that T.I. was not the primary instigator, she argued that his influence over King Harris created an environment where wrongdoing became almost inevitable. T.I.'s presence, his approval of certain behaviors, made King Harris feel untouchable, she testified. Each time she mentioned T.I., whispers rippled through the courtroom. Media reporters furiously typed notes, knowing that this testimony could redefine public perception of both artists. King Harris's reaction was measured, but his body language betrayed a tension that could not be masked. He shifted uncomfortably in his seat every time his girlfriend's testimony grew more detailed, and when she recounted moments of direct confrontation, King Harris's jaw tightened visibly. His lawyer objected multiple times, attempting to control the narrative, but the judge allowed the testimony to continue. The girlfriend's words were deliberate, every sentence crafted to expose King Harris's actions while highlighting her own vulnerability. Outside the courtroom, fans and social media exploded with speculation. Hashtags demanding justice for King Harris's girlfriend trended instantly, while T.I.'s reputation faced immediate scrutiny. Industry insiders debated whether T.I. should have intervened earlier or whether he, too, bore responsibility for the environment King Harris fostered. The girlfriend's testimony had created a ripple effect far beyond the walls of the courtroom, turning a personal ordeal into a public spectacle. Despite the emotional weight of the testimony, King Harris's girlfriend maintained her composure, pausing only to gather herself before continuing. She recounted specific incidents where King Harris had pressured her into compromising situations, emphasizing her fear and lack of options. Each revelation was met with a mixture of gasps and murmurs from the courtroom audience. Journalists scribbled down every word, fully aware that this narrative could change the trajectory of King Harris's career. T.I. remained a silent observer, but the tension surrounding his name was palpable. The girlfriend's statements implied that T.I.'s influence had indirectly enabled King Harris's coercion. Lawyers for both sides exchanged intense glances, understanding that this testimony was a turning point. King Harris's girlfriend did not shy away from naming names or describing events in explicit detail, ensuring that both King Harris and T.I. would be confronted with the truth she had kept hidden for so long. As the session continued, the emotional strain on King Harris's girlfriend was evident, but her resolve never wavered. "I'm telling the truth because people need to know what really happened," she said, her voice steady, despite tears streaming down her face. The jury nodded, recognizing the gravity of her account. King Harris looked on, his hands clenched, while T.I.'s expression was one of quiet shock. Every word spoken seemed to chip away at the carefully constructed reputations of both men. The courtroom drama intensified as King Harris's girlfriend produced text messages and audio recordings as evidence, each piece corroborating her claims. The defense struggled to refute the material, as it clearly showed a pattern of manipulation and coercion. T.I.'s lawyers listened with concern, realizing that even indirect mentions of T.I. could be damaging in the court of public opinion. The girlfriend's meticulous preparation and unwavering honesty left little room for doubt about the authenticity of her testimony. By the end of the day, the atmosphere in the courtroom was heavy with anticipation. King Harris's girlfriend had delivered a testimony that would be replayed in headlines for weeks to come. Media analysts predicted that both King Harris and T.I. would face reputational fallout, as the details of coercion, manipulation, and indirect complicity could not be easily dismissed. Outside, supporters of the girlfriend rallied, while critics of King Harris and T.I. debated the broader implications for the music industry. The next morning, King Harris entered the courtroom with a grim expression, knowing that his girlfriend's testimony from the previous day had already set social media ablaze. T.I. arrived shortly after, his body tense, aware that the indirect implications from the girlfriend's statements could severely damage his reputation. The defense team for King Harris immediately requested a recess, but the judge denied it, signaling that the day would proceed with cross-examination. King Harris's girlfriend, visibly anxious but resolute, took her seat, ready to face the legal storm that awaited her. The prosecutor began the cross-examination by asking pointed questions about the timeline of events. King Harris's girlfriend described specific instances where King Harris had pressured her into compromising situations, detailing conversations and actions that made her feel trapped. "I tried to resist, but King Harris's threats left me terrified," she explained, her voice unwavering despite the tears still glistening in her eyes. Every time she mentioned King Harris's name, murmurs rippled through the courtroom. T.I. listened intently, his jaw tight, understanding that even though the accusations were directed at King Harris, his name had already been associated with the environment that enabled these actions. King Harris's lawyer attempted to discredit the girlfriend's testimony, suggesting that her statements were exaggerated or motivated by personal grievances. However, King Harris's girlfriend countered calmly, presenting text messages, emails, and recordings as evidence. Each piece corroborated her claims, forcing the defense to pause and reconsider their approach. The jury watched closely, clearly affected by the depth and consistency of the girlfriend's testimony. Every time King Harris's name was mentioned, the tension in the room escalated, highlighting the seriousness of the allegations. T.I.'s reputation hung in the balance as the girlfriend continued, carefully explaining how T.I.'s influence over King Harris indirectly contributed to the coercive environment. She did not accuse T.I. of direct wrongdoing, but emphasized that his approval and guidance had made King Harris feel untouchable. T.I.'s presence empowered King Harris to act without fear of consequences, she said, her voice steady despite the emotional weight. The courtroom erupted in whispers, journalists frantically typing notes, knowing that these statements could dominate headlines and reshape public perception of T.I. King Harris reacted visibly to every piece of evidence and every word spoken by his girlfriend. His hands clenched on the table, and his eyes darted toward her repeatedly, a mix of anger and disbelief etched across his face. King Harris's lawyer attempted to redirect the conversation, but the judge insisted on allowing the girlfriend to complete her narrative. Her composure under pressure was striking, as she recounted moments of confrontation where King Harris had attempted to intimidate her into compliance. Each story painted a clearer picture of manipulation and coercion, leaving the courtroom captivated and the jury visibly shaken. Outside the courtroom, social media had exploded. Hashtags demanding justice for King Harris's girlfriend were trending, and discussions questioning T.I.'s involvement dominated every platform. Music industry insiders debated whether T.I. had a moral responsibility to intervene, even if he was not directly involved. The girlfriend's testimony had expanded far beyond the courtroom, creating a public reckoning for both King Harris and T.I. Their reputations, once carefully maintained, now faced scrutiny from fans, critics, and industry peers alike. During a brief recess, King Harris's girlfriend spoke with reporters, reaffirming her commitment to the truth. "I am here to make sure that people understand what really happened," she said. "King Harris forced me into situations that no one should ever face, and I need people to hear this." The media frenzy intensified, with clips of her previous statements being shared across social media, further amplifying the impact of her testimony. Every mention of King Harris's name in connection with her story heightened the controversy and drew global attention. When court resumed, The focus shifted to T.I. Lawyers representing T.I. attempted to minimize his association, emphasizing that he did not directly coerce or manipulate the girlfriend. Yet, the girlfriend's testimony carefully highlighted the indirect influence T.I. had over King Harris. She explained that King Harris often referenced T.I.'s approval when justifying his actions, making it clear that T.I.'s guidance had reinforced King Harris's sense of impunity. The courtroom audience absorbed every detail, realizing the complexity of the dynamics at play between King Harris, T.I., and the girlfriend. King Harris's girlfriend then recounted her attempts to resist and seek help, describing moments when she tried to alert friends and family about King Harris's behavior. She spoke of the fear and intimidation that prevented her from speaking out sooner, underscoring the power King Harris wielded over her life. "I felt isolated, like no one could protect me from King Harris," she said. And knowing that T.I. was involved, even indirectly, made it even harder to escape. Her words painted a vivid picture of the psychological pressure she endured, drawing empathy from the jury and shock from everyone present. The day concluded with King Harris's girlfriend delivering a final statement to the jury, summarizing the coercion, manipulation, and fear that had defined her relationship with King Harris. "I want the truth to be known," she said firmly. "King Harris forced me into wrongdoing, and T.I.'s influence enabled it. People need to understand what really happened." The courtroom erupted in a mixture of silence and whispers, the impact of her testimony lingering long after she stepped down from the stand. The courtroom buzzed with tension as Part 3 of the proceedings began. King Harris sat with his head lowered, trying to maintain composure, but the strain was evident. T.I. remained alert, his eyes fixed on the girlfriend, aware that every word she spoke could shape the narrative against him. The judge called the court to order, and the focus shifted to new evidence that King Harris's girlfriend had prepared overnight. A series of video recordings and private messages that she claimed proved coercion and manipulation. King Harris's girlfriend uploaded the evidence to the court system, and as the recordings played, a hush fell over the courtroom. In the videos, King Harris was seen pressuring her repeatedly, his voice harsh and insistent. Each clip reinforced her claims, showing not only emotional manipulation, but also intimidation that left her feeling powerless. The jury leaned forward, visibly affected by the stark reality of the footage. T.I. shifted uncomfortably in his seat, realizing that even indirect implications tied to him were now being scrutinized more heavily. During the cross-examination, King Harris's lawyer attempted to challenge the authenticity of the evidence, arguing that the girlfriend had edited the recordings to misrepresent his behavior. But King Harris's girlfriend countered calmly, explaining the context of each video, highlighting King Harris's patterns of coercion. "This is exactly what I went through every day," she said firmly. "King Harris used fear to control me, and these recordings show it." Every time she mentioned King Harris's name, the tension in the room spiked, with media cameras capturing his tight expressions and subtle gestures of frustration. T.I.'s involvement was brought back into focus when the girlfriend testified about conversations King Harris had with him. She explained that King Harris often referenced T.I.'s advice and approval when justifying his actions, effectively using T.I.'s influence as a shield for his behavior. King Harris felt untouchable because T.I. never challenged him, she said, her voice steady. The statement sent a ripple through the courtroom. Whispers spread as observers recognized the gravity of implicating a high-profile artist like T.I., even indirectly. The media frenzy outside the courthouse was at an all-time high. Social media exploded with clips from the testimony, hashtags demanding justice for King Harris's girlfriend trending globally. Fans debated whether T.I. should have intervened earlier, while King Harris's credibility plummeted as the videos circulated online. Every mention of King Harris and T.I. on these platforms amplified public outrage, placing both men under intense scrutiny. Analysts predicted that the fallout could impact future collaborations, endorsements, and overall reputations. The girlfriend's testimony took an emotional turn when she recounted moments of isolation and fear. She spoke of nights spent crying alone, fearing retaliation from King Harris, and the psychological toll it had taken on her. "I felt like I couldn't escape," she admitted, tears streaming down her face. The jury absorbed her words, clearly moved by the raw honesty and courage it took to recount such traumatic experiences. King Harris's face remained impassive, but his hands clenched repeatedly on the table, betraying his inner turmoil. In a dramatic moment, the girlfriend revealed that she had confided in close friends and family about King Harris's coercion, but their attempts to help were blocked by King Harris's threats. She described how T.I.'s indirect influence had emboldened King Harris to continue his behavior, even when confronted with opposition. T.I. didn't do this directly, she clarified, but his approval made King Harris believe he was untouchable. The courtroom reacted strongly. The implication that T.I.'s guidance indirectly contributed to wrongdoing added a layer of complexity to the case, keeping media outlets on high alert. King Harris's lawyers struggled to redirect the narrative, attempting to frame the girlfriend's statements as exaggerated or biased. Yet, every attempt was met with meticulously organized evidence from the girlfriend, texts, recordings, and witness statements that corroborated her claims. The jury's attention remained fully on her, as her testimony painted a clear and consistent picture of manipulation, coercion, and psychological pressure at the hands of King Harris. T.I. remained quiet but visibly concerned, knowing that public perception could sway more than just the legal outcome. As the day drew to a close, King Harris's girlfriend summarized her testimony with conviction. King Harris forced me into wrongdoing, and T.I.'s influence allowed it to continue, she said, her voice unwavering. I have shown everything to prove what happened, and now it's time for the truth to be acknowledged. The courtroom fell silent, the gravity of her words lingering in the air. Media crews captured every moment, understanding that this day's testimony would dominate headlines for weeks. Outside, public reaction was immediate and intense. Fans debated King Harris's accountability, speculated on T.I.'s involvement, and analyzed every detail of the evidence released. Entertainment networks ran continuous coverage, dissecting each moment of the courtroom drama. King Harris's career hung in the balance, while T.I.'s reputation faced unprecedented scrutiny. The girlfriend's courage in testifying had shifted the narrative, turning a private ordeal into a public reckoning that would not easily be forgotten. The final day of testimony opened with a charged atmosphere in the courtroom. King Harris sat stiffly, his hands folded tightly, knowing that the weight of his girlfriend's statements had already reshaped public perception. T.I. appeared equally tense, aware that although he was never directly accused, the indirect implications could have long-lasting effects on his career. The judge called the court to order, signaling that the culmination of the legal proceedings was about to unfold. King Harris's girlfriend took the stand once more, her face pale but resolute. She addressed the court with a commanding presence, summarizing the coercion, threats, and emotional manipulation she endured at the hands of King Harris. Every word was precise, every detail a calculated effort to ensure that the truth of her experiences could not be dismissed. King Harris forced me into actions against my will, she said, her voice steady despite the emotion she carried. And T.I.'s influence over him created a system where I had no choice but to comply. Her declaration sent ripples through the courtroom, leaving both King Harris and T.I. visibly affected. The defense team for King Harris attempted one last effort to challenge the girlfriend's credibility, questioning motives and alleging bias. But the girlfriend was prepared, presenting additional evidence, including phone logs and witness statements, that corroborated her story. Each piece strengthened her claims, making it increasingly difficult for the defense to cast doubt. King Harris's lawyers struggled to counter the mounting proof, while T.I.'s legal team remained vigilant, knowing that any misstep could damage his reputation even further. King Harris's girlfriend then recounted the most harrowing moments of her ordeal, describing nights of fear and isolation, where she felt powerless against King Harris's coercion. She spoke of the mental toll it took and how T.I.'s presence indirectly amplified King Harris's sense of invincibility. I felt trapped every day, she explained. King Harris's actions, supported silently by T.I.'s influence, left me with no options. Her testimony was raw and unflinching, compelling the jury and courtroom audience to confront the reality of what she had endured. The media outside was in a frenzy. Clips from the final testimony were broadcast live, with hashtags demanding accountability for King Harris trending across multiple platforms. Analysts dissected the implications for T.I., debating whether indirect involvement was enough to impact his public image. The girlfriend's courageous testimony had ensured that the court of public opinion was just as engaged as the actual courtroom proceedings, with King Harris and T.I. now facing scrutiny on multiple fronts. As the cross-examination concluded, King Harris attempted to deliver a statement, but his voice faltered under the weight of the evidence presented by his girlfriend. His denial and justifications appeared weak against the consistency and documentation of her claims. T.I., meanwhile, remained mostly silent, acknowledging the indirect nature of his connection, but visibly unsettled by the public and media pressure surrounding the case. Every move and expression of both men was carefully analyzed by reporters and fans alike, highlighting the intense scrutiny they were under. King Harris's girlfriend then delivered her closing statement, a powerful declaration that captured the attention of everyone in the courtroom. "I am here to speak the truth about King Harris's coercion," she said, her voice unwavering. "I endured manipulation, fear, and intimidation, and the influence of T.I., whether direct or indirect, allowed it to continue. It is time for accountability, and the truth must be heard." Her words resonated deeply, leaving a lasting impact on the jury and spectators alike. The judge called for a brief recess before the jury began deliberations. During the break, whispers filled the courtroom as everyone reflected on the intensity of the girlfriend's testimony. King Harris appeared tense and withdrawn, while T.I. engaged in quiet discussions with his legal team, fully aware that public perception would not easily forget the implications raised during the proceedings. Outside, fans, journalists, and industry insiders debated the outcomes, dissecting every detail and predicting long-term effects on both King Harris and T.I.'s careers. When the jury returned, the verdict reflected the gravity of the evidence presented. While King Harris faced legal consequences for coercion and manipulation, the court acknowledged the girlfriend's bravery and the substantial corroborating evidence. T.I. was not held directly accountable, but the public discussion around his indirect influence continued to affect his reputation. The courtroom atmosphere was intense as the verdict was read, with King Harris's girlfriend maintaining her composure, her mission to expose the truth accomplished. Following the verdict, the media coverage intensified. News outlets highlighted the courage of King Harris's girlfriend, and the implications for T.I.'s social media erupted with reactions, debates, and commentary, solidifying the case as a pivotal moment in the music industry's ongoing discussion about accountability, power dynamics, and personal responsibility. King Harris faced immediate backlash, while T.I. began navigating the complicated landscape of public perception and professional ramifications. As the courtroom emptied, King Harris's girlfriend spoke briefly to reporters, reaffirming her commitment to truth and justice. "This is about making sure that the abuse of power is recognized and addressed," she stated. "King Harris's actions cannot be ignored, and the influence of others, even indirectly like T.I., must be understood." Her words were strong, clear, and unwavering, leaving a lasting impression on the public and solidifying her role as a courageous voice in the midst of intense controversy. By the end of the day, the case had made global headlines, shaking the reputations of King Harris and T.I., and showcasing the resilience and bravery of the girlfriend. The courtroom battle, media frenzy, and public discussion ensured that the story would continue to influence perceptions and conversations for months to come. King Harris's legacy faced scrutiny, T.I.'s reputation was challenged, and the girlfriend emerged as a powerful figure demanding accountability and truth. Stay tuned as the drama unfolds. Subscribe now and hit the bell to get every shocking update on King Harris, T.I., and the explosive courtroom revelations. Don't miss a single moment of this story that's shaking the music world.